Is the Nikon Z8 too good to be true? Is it too good of a camera? Did Nikon remove a planned feature, a planned future firmware update for the Nikon Z8 for fear of making the Nikon Z9 obsolete? Stick around after this short break for all the details. But first, please do me a favor. Follow me on Twitter, but most importantly, please subscribe to this channel. It doesn't cost you anything and really does help this channel grow. And if you're already a subscriber, thanks so much for your support. Nikon released firmware 4.0 for the Nikon Z9 just last week, and they said in this video that the popular auto capture capability that allows the Nikon Z9 to capture subjects and objects without any human intervention as it comes into the frame from any particular side of the frame, from any distance, whether it be human, animal, or object, without any human intervention, that this new auto capture capability will be coming to the Nikon Z8 in a future firmware update. And you see this video, it now has that segment edited out. It used to be right here at the 1 minute and 42 second mark. I know what you're thinking. Wait a minute, this video's been up there for 6 days, so this happened right at the announcement of the firmware update, so there's no way that, well, they would have released another video and have a different date stamp, correct? Well, no, that's not true. As a YouTube presenter and editor of various videos that I upload for this channel, I can tell you that YouTube does allow you to go into videos and edit segments out by the second, by the frame. And that's what's happened here. Not enough evidence? Well, when Nikon announced the Z8, they also issued a press release. And this is a copy of that press release found courtesy of the new camera, Photography Life, and you'll see it on many other websites. And in that press release, Nikon stated that upcoming features will be added in a planned firmware update, and that includes an auto capture function, which will allow a photographer to automatically trigger a remote camera on user set preferences. An update will also allow for the base ISO to be extended down to 200 when shooting video footage with N-Log enabled. It's gone. It's wiped away. It's no longer in the video, and it's no longer in the press release. It's like Nikon is slowly trying to pull it out of our memory as though they never mentioned it. Nope, I didn't say anything. Not here. Nope, I never said that. Look, it's not in our video. It's not in our press release. It kind of reminds me of the movie The Forgotten. And in that movie, the main characters slowly have their memories of their children eroded away to the point where they question their own sanity. I'm not questioning my sanity here, and neither is Nikon Rumors, because we have documented information. It is on the internet. Thanks to all the coverage of the Nikon Z8 and the Nikon Z9, we can clearly see that it was in the original press release. So why? Why is Nikon going to all the trouble of trying to erase any mention of the auto capture capability being promised to the Nikon Z8 in a future firmware update? They could just simply say, hey, you know what? We're not going to put it in the Nikon Z8, but to change history, or at least try to, has me wondering. Now, perhaps, and this is just a perhaps here, that they look at the Nikon Z8 and the Nikon Z9 and they see the cameras spaced away by about, or separated by around $1,500 and think, wow, that Nikon Z8 looks very, very similar to the Nikon Z9. And I know that the Nikon Z8 is selling very, very well. And for many, that $1,500 difference is enough to say, you know what, dual CF Express Type B cards and some other capabilities, extended battery life, you know what, I'm willing to take a risk with that and go with the Nikon Z8. And I think there is a chance here that Nikon is trying to further separate the capabilities of these two cameras. And that's exactly what Nikon Rumors is thinking. I think Nikon realized that the new Z8 is too good of a camera and in many ways makes the Z9 obsolete. They wanted to create a mini Z9 and now they're removing features from the Z8. I hope I'm wrong in my interpretation. This is just one capability, but to have it removed from a future firmware update is a little bit disappointing. The Nikon Z8 is a very solid camera. It's capable of, well, shooting 8K video at 60 frames per second. It has Apple ProRes. It can shoot 20 frames per second lossless RAW. It is a mini Z9. It's got a mini price tag as well, priced right around the same price as the, well, Canon EOS R5 and the Sony A7 R5. As I said when I covered the Nikon Z8, I think it's a terrific camera. I think it's a really good price for what it delivers. And yes, there are some things that need to be worked on a little bit more. We want to see an improvement still to the autofocus system to bring it up to where Sony and Canon are. But the Nikon Z8 here today in 2023 is a solid camera, and it's still selling very, very well. Now, if Nikon was to go about removing capabilities from the Z8 in future firmware updates, actually taking away capabilities, well, that would be a big mistake, and, well, it would blow back on them pretty seriously. But to actually take away capabilities that haven't been delivered to us in the camera yet, it's a little bit disappointing. But at the same point, if you own the Nikon Z8 right now, can you blame them? Are you really too upset about it? I'd really like to know your thoughts in the comment section down below. The auto capture capability I think is pretty cool, and if you're going to be shooting at 120 frames per second like Nikon talks about with a skier coming down the hill, then yeah, that's a situation where I could definitely see you wanting to get that auto capture capability, and in that case, the Z9 is probably where you need to be. But for the rest of us, very few of us need to shoot high-speed continuous stills, certainly much faster than 20 frames per second, and I think that this capability being reserved for the Nikon Z9 certainly makes sense, but somebody screwed up. Somebody promised the capability and then to remove it? Well, that never goes over quite well, does it? So if you want to stay up to date on when the future firmware update for the Nikon Z8 is going to be, then go ahead and subscribe, but also choose all notifications. And for all those news stories that aren't quite big enough to have their own separate video, such as pricing discounts on the Nikon Z7 and the Nikon Z6 Mark II, both of them on sale for between $300 and $400 off. We're also seeing sales on Panasonic, the S1H, the Canon EOS R5, and the R3. So go ahead and follow me on Twitter. And if you're interested in the sales, now we had some really incredible sales last week that you had to enter some promo codes in. Those are gone, but you can still see cameras like the Canon EOS R5 on sale for $33.99 with a free battery grip at Adorama and on sale for $33.99 at B&H. But gone is that package of $32.99 at Adorama for the battery grip and an EF to RF adapter. But then again, at $33.99 with a battery grip, you can go ahead and purchase that, well, EF to RF adapter for just $99. But still, that was a pretty amazing deal that we had with Adorama just, well, a couple of weeks back. And it ended, I think, just on the weekend. I think Friday was the last day. But there are still amazing deals. And if you want to stay up to date on all that, then go ahead and follow me on Twitter, because I'm constantly tweeting out when I see really great deals or news information. And even when I publish big videos like this, I will tweet those out. But all those news stories that aren't quite big enough to have their own separate video, they definitely get tweeted out. And I don't have to worry about a limitation of around 3 videos a day. When it comes to Twitter, I can tweet out as much as I want. So as information comes out, pricing discounts, anything that's germane to you, I tweet it out. So yes, definitely subscribe to this channel, but I also recommend following me on Twitter. But that's it for now. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you again soon.